I didn't love it. I'll be honest. It could have been better. The whole time I was watching, I was like, if you just tweaked it here and changed it here, this could have been what Black Widow deserves. And Marvel, you didn't deliver.
Yeah, Scarlett Johansson deserved better from this film, from this project, from the time she's spent in the MCU. And this film just felt like an afterthought. Yeah. It seemed super inconsequential to the MCU. It seems like they just greenlit it for the sake of it, and I think they blew the budget way out of proportion. But there were some good things about it. But there weren't that many. Hey, NarendraTheComic again! No, we got Nonsensei, but I suppose in some ways this thing was a bit of nonsense. I don't think it was the best Marvel film ever. It wasn't the worst, but it's towards the lower end.
Yeah, I think they missed a trick here, guys. Genuinely, this could have been so much better. Story-wise, it was lacking in some ways. There are some plot holes here.
A lot.
There's one particular one that I cannot get out of my head.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know that whole thing with the pheromones and no widows can kill Ray Winston because of the pheromones in his body because they've been trained for it or conditioned against it. Ray Winston is like 58 in this at least. Let's say 60, forgive me, 60, maybe 60 older. Something. He's gotten to his old man stage. You know that thing? Old man smell, old lady smell, old person smell? Yeah. It's an actual thing because the chemicals in your skin change as you age because it's an evolutionary response about reproductiveness. It happens in numerous other mammals. So the pheromones should have changed from when she was a kid in the Red Room to when she's trying to kill him in the end of the film. The pheromones should be different in some way, shape or form, so they should be null and void. She shouldn't have had to crack her nose open to sever the nerve. There should have been no need for that. So, just me. I'm not a scientist, guys. I learned a language. I know this. Why was this the thing? They could have done it as she'd been conditioned for it, not because of the pheromones, but because the first thing they learned as widows was to never lay a finger on him. I would have believed that more, and it could have been her trying to make her way over this terrible mind thing in her mind that she had to push forward. That would have been more interesting.
I thought you were going with a different plot hole, though. I thought you were going to talk about the gas and how this magic gas just decouples people from the training they've had mentally, and now they're not slaves anymore because the gas goes in through the eyes and it's, the neurons are all good now. What? What type of science is this?
It's a very quick fix.
But it's not really science fiction. It's not really our world. It's the MCU. So maybe they have those things. We've seen crazier things than that in the MCU. But in this grounded world, I don't want that. I want John Wick, but Black Widow.
Yeah.
That's what they could have done here. They could have saved a lot of money on the budget. They could have given us a grittier, darker film. And I think most people would have preferred that.
Yeah, I think just the way that they were characterizing Black Widow and then the people in her family, the characterizations that we've seen for Natasha as of yet are very clear. We understand who she is. We understand where she's going because we see how she ends.
And how she dies.
And how she
Precisely how she ends. Very nice.
But with the family, I think in this one film, they did a good job with these characters because I do want to see more of them. With
David Harbour, Rachel Weisz, and Florence Pugh.
Yeah.
Those three were great.
Yeah.
I think they all had their own elements to them. I didn't like Florence Pugh at the beginning, but I liked her. She grew into the role.
Yeah.
And the character kind of created something for herself in that space. But Rachel Weisz and David Harbour, I like both of them. I think the comedic element was a bit too heavy sometimes, and it made David Harbour seem like a bit too much of an idiot, which wasn't great, but Rachel Weisz was really, really good. Because they're just humans at the end of the day. So they did that well in grounding them as just humans, but they tried to make this bigger than it was, and it made the story feel very void of anything.
Yeah, I think with her story, it's deeply personal. We already have some very personal facts about Natasha, so this could have been insular and a deep dive into who she is, why she is the way she is, and it would have hit hard for fans and even non-fans. I feel like people would have been able to empathize, but they were just like 5,000 Black Widows, and I'm like, but we don't see what happens after the film.
Yeah,
right?
It's assumed that they're all dealt with and they're all better now. But then it's also like, who created this gas? We didn't see the person who created the gas. It would have made sense to some degree if they just made Rachel Weisz's character create the gas, and then Ray Winston's character being like, I know you created the gas, all right? I can either kill you, or you can stop doing it. Or if you bring Black Widow to me, then we're equal and you can carry on living.
Yeah. Or they could have done Yelena, Florence Pugh's character, instead of her being enlightened by another widow who was trying to get away with the vials, she could have gone to kill the original creator in the lab, and they found it and they sent her and a bunch of them, and then she becomes enlightened in that way, because you would have seen an old widow being like, I know why you're here.
Small changes to the story could have done it. I think, I'm being serious. I'm not bigging us up. We are not the most amazing storytellers in the world, all right? We watch a lot of film, we watch a lot of TV right here and there, and I really do feel that if you'd given us a week to storyboard this, we could have come up with a better story. Small things are fine to change, and that will change how the nuances are looked at. But there were big overhauls that could have been made in this story that could have made it a lot better. The William Hurt thing coming in, good, but you could have made it better. You could have made it so the Black Widows were actually after her because now she's being hunted because of her breaking the Sokovia Accords. You could have had that be the situation and her finding out the Red Room is still active and that situation being bled out from there and creating a tinier world which you can actually deal with underground, because she's meant to be underground.
Right.
She's not supposed to be out in the open. Plus, the helicarrier scenes, I don't want them. I don't want them anymore. I've seen them too many times.
Yeah.
The space scenes are cool, but bases in the sky?
Yeah.
No.
It's been done enough, and I feel like this film was like a hodgepodge of other Marvel films, but it was put together poorly. And it's really a poor reflection of the MCU. It wasn't a great representation compared to a lot of the previous MCU films.
I agree with you. I think that when you look at it, they tried to take a Winter Soldier approach with it, but they destroyed it. Yeah. They destroyed it in a bad way, not a good way, because you can destroy things in a good way. They destroyed it in a bad way. They didn't really take the good elements from it. They just took random bits and made it uninteresting, unappetizing, and something which I don't really think I want to watch again.
No, this is really weird for us. Like, we rewatch MCU films, a lot of them, especially the beginning, the older ones. Like, I've recently started from Phase 1 all over again in my spare time because they're such good films. The storytelling is so wonderful. This film is just... I'm really disappointed because Black Widow deserves better. The fans who've been wanting this for 10 years wanted something else, I think, at least in my case. I will say some of the action scenes were very well shot. Whether we needed them all or not is another question. Yeah,
some of them felt a bit too large. They didn't need to be this giant and explosions and helicarriers and that type of stuff, but the smaller scenes were actually pretty good. The fight scenes themselves were surprisingly impressive, but I do feel that the bigger set pieces were a bit clunky and a bit unnecessary.
Well, you see where that 200 million went.
I do. It was
right? You see it. You could have made this a lot cheaper, boys. You were spending a lot of money on this. Could have saved a big buck.
Many big bucks. You could have saved 9 figures.
Yeah.
Half the budget.
Yeah.
9 figures. I've seen reviews of people saying, it's the best Marvel solo film ever. I'm like, you guys, guys, you stop it, all right? You stop that, because it's just not true. There are 15 other MCU films that are better than this film, at least, minimum. Minimum.
Remember, this is a very large repertoire at this point.
Objectively, not subjectively. So I don't know where people are going with that, but I just feel that there were so many options. There were so many things they could have done. And they didn't mess it up horribly. They just didn't fulfill the potential that was there. Yeah. Whereas I don't feel that way with Guardians of the Galaxy 1. I don't feel that way with Iron Man, Captain America 1, Thor 1. Again, I don't have that feel towards it, but with this, I feel like, come on.
Also, it doesn't help because you've got 10 years worth of character, basically, and you've got 40 years of comics that you could be pulling from. I understand that they brought in the Taskmaster, but then they threw that away with this character and the daughter. It's just, it feels a bit mishmashed. You know?
That was a horrible thing. The Taskmaster change up. Hey, you want to make it a woman? Fine. Make it a woman, whatever you want to do, but make Rachel Weisz the Taskmaster and then change the story. Like, make these small incremental changes that change the overall structure for the better. Because this child being Taskmaster at the end of the day was just fluffy. It was fluffy. It was unicorn hair. It was unicorn poop. It was all the above, and I didn't like it.
Also, the Taskmaster suit looked like a Power Rangers outfit, and I don't know why.
Honestly, he's a badass in the comics. He is, so...
Right. This iteration, really poor. The colouring was bad, and then she popped her helmet off, and she looked teeny tiny in this big suit. Guys.
Plus, we didn't get any Clint Barton, no Hawkeye. Again, more references to Budapest, but we didn't get it. And then you got it right at the end in the post-credit scene,
Yeah.
as well as that Madam Hydra popping up. So it is tied in, but the question is, how much is this going to influence the rest of the MCU? I don't know what's happening with Phase 4, right? Loki, at least episode 1 was interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't love where they went with the story, but at least it was different. So hopefully this is not the way Phase 4 is going to go. But you just never know. But anyway, guys, if you did enjoy this video, please do like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel down there. If you didn't, Black Widow herself gonna come after you. Who's it gonna be? Scarlett Johansson? Florence Pugh? We just don't know. Do they want that?
No.
No, you really don't want that. So just subscribe anyway to avoid that. I've been NarendraTheComic.
I've been India.
She's been on Sensei. You've been Graham. We'll see you next time. That's tomorrow. If you don't know, make a video every single day. Been doing it every day for over 1,000 days now. We ain't stopping till we get to 10,000 subscribers. So do subscribe. Pop back again tomorrow for some more quality shitty content, because we're hashtag never not here. Just how it goes. Also bring the Bakwas. Bakwas means nonsense in Punjabi, and we also bring that. Bring a lot. Bring a little, do a lot, do a little, but we do indeed bring the quality shitty content on a daily basis. So see you tomorrow. More of the same, slightly different, but essentially the very same. Once more. See you then. Skadoosh.